everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you some terracotta pot patio friends that you can make for fall. They're super easy to make. You'll have a lot of fun making them. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Right, Maxwell? Okay, you can start with two 3-inch flower pots. They're 3 inches in diameter. And I'm going to take some tan paint and some brown paint. And I'm going to paint the tan. This is going to be the face. So just kind of get it smoothed on there real good. And then for the body, I'm painting it the brown. And I'm painting this entire flower pot for the body brown. Arms, you're going to need 6 of a flower pot that measures 1 1/4 inches. And I'm painting it the same color as the body. And I'm going to paint the entire thing. But you are going to need 6 for the arms. The head, I'm going to take some brown paint as well. And I'm just going to paint the trim at the very top. Legs, I'm going to take 2 flower pots that measure 1 3/4 inches across. And I'm going to paint the bottom of them with the brown. And I'm going to paint the top edge of them with the tan. This will be like the sole of the shoe. For the head, go ahead and paint the inside of the flower pot brown as well. For the face, I'm taking a fine point Sharpie and I'm just kind of making a heart shape that stops kind of at the bottom and then curves at the bottom. So a little heart at the top part and then just curve up on the bottom and then put a round little nose right there. And then I'm just going to draw a line right down the center, divide the eyes, and then make a little squiggly mouth and a couple little eyebrows. Take some white paint and I'm just going to color in the eye area. And try not to cover up the lines that you just drew. Just kind of take a small paintbrush just to fill this in. And I think I did 2 coats on this to get it completely white. The nose, I'm just taking some orange paint and I'm just going to color that in there too. And if you do go over your lines, you can go back in and add them back later. Highlight the eyebrows and the mouth a little bit more. I did take a little paintbrush and just draw it back in there with the black paint. And then I'm going to highlight right down the center, make that a little bit darker, and then I'm going to paint my eyes in. Just 2 little black pupils. I'm going to add a little dot of white paint right into the center of the 2 pupils. Make little stitch marks around his eyes with just a black fine point Sharpie. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the top part of his nose. Take the head, turn it to the bottom, and the hole in the bottom, you want to enlarge it a little bit. And I'm just taking some pliers to kind of waller it out a little bit to make it a little bit larger. Take some jute twine, and I would go ahead and cut this about 12 inches. So you're going to use 4 of these, and I would make them at 12 inches. So have them a little bit bigger than you're going to use because you'll have to tie knots. And just go ahead and cut them off at the end. So you have 4 strands, and you're going to run them through the bottom of the head flower pot. Grab some pliers and pull it all the way through. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and add a bead. I'm going to cut the top of it off because it does have all that little dust all over it. And then go ahead and thread them through your bead. And you want to get a bead that has a big enough hole. You can even use a bigger bead than the one I have. Just get one that's big enough that you can run that jute through it pretty easily. And then we're just going to tie that off into a knot. And then pull it pretty tight so it stays together, and then you can add a little bit of hot glue just to hold it in place. Body side, you're going to take 2 of the strands and you're going to run it through the bottom of the body. where the two bottoms of the flower pots are going to be meeting together. We're going to glue these together here in a little bit. So go ahead and pull that on through, and that's going to be for the legs, and the other two that are hanging loose are going to be for the arms. Attach the two flower pots together. We're going to use a little bit of E6000 glue and some hot glue. Just make sure that your arms are pushed to the side. Go ahead and add your E6000 glue, and you want to get around the rim as well. And then put a little bit of hot glue just to hold it in place while that dries. Just make sure that your arms are pulled to the side on both of them. And then just set that aside to dry for a while. For the arms, take your jute, put a little bit of hot glue on it, and this will make it a little easier to thread the arms. And we're going to take 3 flower pots coming through the bottom of each one of them just to attach these. Just stack them up. And then I'm going to take a little bead to put inside of this just to hold all this together. So push it on down to the bottom. Make sure that your arms do hang, and then tie that off into a knot. And push that all the way up to the bottom part of that bead. And you will have a little bit of jute showing as they dangle, but you got to have them dangling a little bit. And I'm tying 2 knots on this one just to hold it together well. And then I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue in there just to hold that to the bead. And then just cut off the excess that's hanging out. And do the other arm exactly the same way. Just make sure that your flower pots are connected. Now, if you can't find these exact same flower pots, you can modify this. Just get something that kind of looks like it matches the size of the bigger flower pot. And then the same thing for the feet. You can kind of just customize this any way you want to. You can make it a lot larger than this one. Okay, for his pant legs, I'm going to take a piece of fabric that measures 2 1/4 by 6 inches, and I'm going to cut the edges off with some pinking shears. And I'm just really using pinking shears on the bottom and on the top part. Go ahead and glue down one long side as close to the edge as you can get, and go ahead and fold your fabric over. Same thing with the other leg. Turn these right side out. Just take a safety pin, run it through the bottom part of one side, and then just start threading it through. This is an easy way to turn things right side out with a safety pin. And do the exact same thing with the other leg. Okay, then to attach the pant leg, I'm just going to take a safety pin, put it at the end of the jute, and then I'm going to run it through the leg. Now, I did another one here after a while, and I just put a little bit of hot glue at the tip of that jute, and it slid right through that leg without the safety pin. So you could do it that way as well. And to attach the shoes, I'm just going to run this jute right through the bottom of the flower pot. I'm going to add a little bead, and I'm just going to tie it off just like I did the arms. Go ahead and glue the top part of the legs inside the flower pot so that they don't slide down that jute. Add a scarf to them. I'm just taking some fabric and cutting it with pinking shears. I think this ended up being maybe about 1.5 inches wide at the most. I don't remember how long it was, but just get a piece that measures around his neck where you can tie it off. And just put a little bit of glue around the top neck area, and then go ahead and glue your scarf down to your flower pot. And I'm going to add a couple little star-shaped buttons to the front. I'll give you the link for these. I got these on Amazon. And you get a lot of these in a pack. And to give him some hair, I'm just going to take some of the little Dollar Tree hula skirt, cut off a little bit of this. If you don't have the Dollar Tree hula skirt, you can use raffia. I'm going to use 3 little bundles of this to make it pretty thick. And just put them together and trim them off to the length that you want. So I got 2 bundles there, and I'm going to add another bundle just to make it a little bit thicker. And then just go ahead and glue it in. This was super simple. And then I'm going to make him a friend here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with her as well. Make him a little friend. I made him a little girl, and I'm just going to do her face very similar to his, except I'm going to add eyelashes instead of stitch marks. But the face is pretty much exactly the same. And then that's where I'm going to add a little bit of eyelashes right there. And then I'm going to paint her exactly like I did him. To dress her up, I'm just going to take a little bit of rickrack and I'm going to just decorate her up a little bit. And I'm going to kind of go fast on this, but you'll be able to see what I did. And I'm just putting it around the bottom part of her little dress. I'm going to put it around the neck, and I'm going to put it around the bottom of both shoes. And you could dress her up however you want to. Just kind of have some fun with this. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pink to her cheeks just to give her a little bit of blush. And I'm just going to add a little leaf to the front part of her dress to kind of dress it up a little bit. For some hair, I'm just going to cut some of this little hula skirt off, and I'm just going to take it and put a rubber band around the top edge of it and then put a ribbon around the bottom edge of it to tie it off. This just holds it together real easy, and then we're going to tuck it inside of the flower pot here in a little bit. And then just cut it to the length that you want. And then I'm going to take a ribbon and tie it around the bottom just to hold it all together. And then I'm going to tie it in a little bow. And I'm going to do another one exactly like that to go on the opposite side. I'm just going to bend the top over, tuck it into the little flower pot, but in order to glue it in, I'm going to have to put a little piece of ribbon around the top part, because if you don't, the hot glue will bust your rubber band. So you want to go ahead and not skip on this part. Make sure that you do this. Just wrap it around there so that when you're gluing to the ribbon and not to the rubber band. And then you're going to add glue at the top and just down the side just a little bit to hold it in place. And then just put a little bit of glue underneath the pigtail just so it stays in place. And then do the same thing for the opposite side. And then glue the bottom of that one in as well. Doing exactly like I did the little guy, I'm putting some in top of the flower pot just to kind of give her some hair on top so it looks like she has a head. Okay, these were super easy. I think they turned out super cute. Look how cute she is. And then he turned out super cute as well. So go ahead and make a pair because you'll want a pair. I think these turned out so cute. You could dress these up so many different ways. If you like this kind of video, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time.